Hello and welcome to Alt Majority. I am Shay.
And I am Shannon. Welcome to our channel. On our channel, we talk about all sorts of interesting things, such as the law of attraction and spirituality and anything interesting and unusual in the universe. We are actually a mother-daughter team, and we are really happy to talk to you today about manifesting.
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be such a good one. So if you listen to previous episodes, you have definitely heard us use a bunch of language that goes along with manifestation talk. And so in this episode, we're just going to break it down a little bit to make it easier to digest if you are new to this.
Right. So let's just start out right at the beginning, defining what do we mean by manifestation? What is manifesting? What is that? What is all this that we mean when we're talking about frequency and vibration, all of that? So, um, really, what is manifestation is look around your life, look at the things, the people, the circumstances, the situations, your possessions, your relationships, your connection to your purpose. All of those things will show you what you have created in your reality. And that's what we mean by manifestation, essentially. It's the things that you have created in your life. And how do you know what you're creating is you look around your reality and you see what reflects back to you. And that's really what we mean about manifesting. So when people talk about manifesting or creating your reality, that's what it is. It's an acknowledgement of our ability to actually choose and create the things we have in our life. Now, of course, everybody comes into this life in a different circumstance. We all have that, but that doesn't mean we don't have the power to still create our reality. So when we talk about manifesting things or situations or people, it's just that it's taking charge of and acknowledging your ability to create, to make things happen, to be open to opportunity, to be open to intuition and inspiration, so that the things that end up reflecting back to you are things that you actually want. That's probably a really long way to say it.
No, but it's perfect. It's really the only things I can add. It's just like this reclamation of your power. Um, and definitely a big part of manifestation is your willingness to actually receive the thing that you're asking for. I think that's a lot of that part is what people lack often. It's like you can
Yeah.
ask, you can do all the things to try to manifest something, but a big part of it is just being willing to actually receive it. So it's living at that vibration or that frequency that of the thing that you want to manifest into your world.
Right. So what we mean by vibration and frequency, and basically what we're talking about, is this idea that everything is energy. And we know this to be true. So if everything is energy, and energy just vibrates at frequency, and that's basically what all the cells are in our body are doing at all times, all the things around us are doing at all times, is vibrating at a certain frequency. So what we're talking about is matching your vibration to the thing that you want to be, to see, what you want to have in your reality, and actually getting those vibrations to match up. And so that's really what we're talking about when we're like, pay attention to your vibration, pay attention to your frequency. And things such as anger, shame, fear, all of those sit in a lower vibration, literally a lower vibration within our bodies. So what we're trying to go for, and we think about changing our frequency or cleaning up our frequency, is letting go of all of those lower vibrations, the expressions of emotion that we have, that it's very natural for us to have, but to let all of that go and focusing on the higher vibrations of love, of service to our fellow human, of joy, honestly, of bliss. And that's really what we're trying to get to. So a lot of times what we do as humans is we base our reactions and our emotions on what we see around us. And so that's how it ends up being when we have a basic commentary inside of our head that is constantly commenting on and noticing everything around us.
Yep.
So and we've talked about the self-talk before. We've talked about that. That's not new, but the idea of like paying attention to your vibration is what is going on with all of that at all times. So it's natural to have things happen and you feel whatever emotion you feel about it. But what is your commentary saying to you about it? And when you're in a constant commentary of expecting bad things or expecting negative energy or basically commenting on it in a negative fashion, noticing the negativity about whatever it is that you're experiencing, what that does is like pulls your vibration down, and it actually ends up, the universe gives you more of that.
Yeah.
Because the universe is responsive, and that's what we mean by the law of attraction, is that the universe doesn't actually in a way care what you're vibrating out. Its job is to like match. It just matches the frequency of it. So this is where if you have a lot of fear and uncertainty and doubt within yourself, and you're having a constant commentary about that going on in your head, a lot of times what you're vibrating out and worrying about is what you're pulling into yourself. It is what you're drawing into yourself. So when we talk about manifesting, it's changing the commentary. It's changing what you notice. It's changing your point of attention so that you can just say to yourself, no matter what situation happens, no matter what it is, you can you can actually notice the more positive vibration of everything that goes on. Every single aspect, you can notice it. And now, obviously, some situations are harder to have this done, right? And some are easier, but it is just noticing and noting that you actually have the power. And I think I said this in the last episode about how, basically what a powerful being you are when you believe in yourself and when you know you can do things. And so when you have that, you get this momentum going and you start to expect the higher vibration of things. And then what do you know is you start to see it. You start to notice those higher vibrations of those things that you want coming into your life. So let me ask you this, Shae. Do you ever wonder why you're drawn toward what you're drawn toward? Why do you like what you like?
Yeah. I'm curious about that all the time.
Right. Like, why? Think about it. Why do you like the things you like? Why are you drawn toward what you like to do? What is all that? It's all tied to our purpose here on earth.
Yeah.
It's all tied to our missions here on earth. So we're not drawn to the things that we like any other reason than that's what we're actually supposed to be paying attention to. That's the type of things that we're supposed to follow, are those inspirations that we have. So this is where it's like we were talking about before, about just really embodying yourself and your being and being okay with you and who you are, and not trying to worry so much about other people's thoughts or other people's expectations on you. So to get into the good place of manifestation, the good ability, get into that good vibration, really ends up circling back to like self-worth, self-love, definitely issues. I mean, it does, but sometimes we're not okay with the things that we're drawn to or like, and sometimes we're drawn to the negative. Okay, so this is where we have to really pay attention to what's going on in those situations, like things that are addictions, for example, or negative behaviors that we have that we're doing to either soothe ourselves or just feed our egos or something like that. That's the type of thing that we have to pay attention to, because sometimes we call those things what they're not. We try to name them as something they're not actually.
And can we just stop for a second and define what we mean when we say shadow work? When you talk about these things that may be more negative vibrations in our lives, to me, what pops up is like, okay, that looks like those things work as shadow work. So could you define that a little bit for the listeners?
Yeah, so shadow work is the lower vibrations, those heavier emotions that we all carry. We all have that. All of that sits inside of us because we live in a state of polarity. That's just what we're in. We're in the opposite energies of, good and bad, dark and light, all of those things that, those are labels, obviously, that we're putting on it, but these different energies, right? Positive, negative energies. So everyone has all of that within them. Everyone does. We are very uncomfortable with our negative emotions. We just are as humans. We don't necessarily know how to deal with all of that. So a lot of times what we do is we don't express those, and we shove them down, or it comes out in some way that isn't healthy or positive, instead of just letting those things express or move through us. So the shadow work is really confronting all that, and it's facing yourself. It's facing yourself and actually taking full responsibility for every single thing that you do. And that is hard to do, because a lot of times we want to blame other people for our actions. All of that will stop our manifestations. And if we're thinking about, a lot of times what you want to manifest is like the good things in your life, right? What it is you're actually, this is one of the keys to manifestation. What you're trying to manifest isn't the thing, it isn't the person, it isn't the situation, it's the feeling.
Yes.
What we're actually trying to get to is some feeling of like bliss, joy, calm, peace, love. Like that's what we're trying to get to. Really think about it. So when we talk about your manifestations coming to you, you have to be the thing you're getting. That's literally what it is you want to express the highest sort of like your highest sort of like timeline, your highest expressions, I guess is what I'm trying to say here, so that my frequency will match the things that will make me feel that way. That's really what it is I want to be able to get into the state. So if I can feel the thing, I can match up with what's out there. You know what I'm saying? So
It's the whole you get what you give.
You get what you are.
You get what you are. Yeah. You get what you are.
That's what it is. You don't get what you want, you get what you are.
Yeah.
And like a lot of times, like, okay, so you'll hear Abraham Hicks has a real good analogy about this, where basically she's talking about how if you think about something you want, your desire, as a freight train, okay? And you're putting a lot of like energy into this freight train, it's moving forward on the tracks, it's going, and you're getting momentum going. But then you have all these fears and doubts that come in to your head, and it actually puts a engine on the track going the other way. And it actually starts pulling you the other way. And if you start filling your whole track up with fears and doubts, pretty soon your manifestation train is literally going the wrong direction.
Right.
And that's what it is. You're starting to become the fear. You're starting to become the doubt. You're starting to become like the uncertainty. You're starting to block it. You're actually starting to block it, and it's not putting you into that state of allowance, which that's really what it is. So let's kind of like move past the thought of what is it, right? So we've talked about this is what we mean by frequency, vibration, manifestation. So how do we actually go about manifesting? There's actually it's a bunch of different ways actually that people have methods people have come up with about how to do it. So let's talk about some of those. What do you think?
Okay, well, my very first and favorite way to manifest things, and we say this a million times, it's self-care. Because as soon as I start investing in my own relationship with myself, that is when I tend to flourish. And so it's spending time with myself, like really tending to myself as I would a dear friend, a dear family member, and just getting my vibration attuned to what it is that I want. When you give yourself time alone, that is a beautiful way to realize like what it is I really want to do. So self-care is one of my favorite ways to manifest, because it's just giving this vibration to the universe, like I deserve this and I'm willing to receive love, and I give love to myself, so I'm open to receiving love elsewhere as well.
Right. I already have love. I already am love. So therefore I want to vibrate to more love.
So I want to let everybody know that the most important relationship you have with anybody is your relationship with yourself. Like
Yes. So
first,
true.
you're not going to vibrate to the other, to what you want, unless you give that exactly to yourself. You don't need anybody to give you love. You need to give love
Yeah.
to yourself first. So self-care is one of my favorites. Another one that I really love is scripting, writing
Yeah.
down exactly what it is that I'm calling in as if I already have it. So writing to my ancestors, to the gods and goddesses that are in my life, to my spirit tribe, and just thanking them for allowing these things into my life. Gratitude, right, is
Yeah.
like the ultimate. You can't manifest without gratitude.
Yeah, agreed. Gratitude. And what you're talking about is a form of self love. It really is. When you're writing things down and you're doing it in like present tense, thank you so much, universe, for all these amazing things. Even though you might look around your reality and you don't see the things that you're thanking universe for, you're putting yourself at a vibrational frequency of that. So, therefore, this is how you call it in. So, I mean, scripting is a real common one you hear. It's real similar to like vision boarding,
Yes,
which that is, you get the big poster board and you put the pictures of the things that you want to have and experience and see. You have a physical manifestation of it right in front of you. So it triggers your brain. These are the things, these are the things I want to vibrate toward. And you're grateful for that. And you say to yourself, I already have it, or it's already mine. And part of that is it is some sort of like a mental trick in a way that you do to yourself,
yeah,
to get yourself into that frequency. But at the same time, it goes to the self love, as it always does, comes back to self worth issues. What kind of vision board am I even allowing myself to give, to put
exactly.
up? Do I have a bunch of limiting beliefs that I'm saying, well, I can't really put that up there. I can't really do that. So I won't even put it on my vision board versus what is your wildest, craziest dream? And I'm gonna put it up there and I'm just gonna be like, you know what, universe, thank you for that. That's such a good way to get us into that about that vibrational frequency of gratitude. And
Yes,
gratitude is absolutely the key. Gratitude. Yeah,
and
for sure.
it's like gratitude, a combination of gratitude and surrender, right? Because just
Yes.
surrendering to the possibility and surrendering to this frequency that you're calling in and getting rid of those fears. Because it's easy. It's easy to think, I can't do it because of A, B, and C. But what if you just drop that and just surrender to the possibility of it being what it is you want?
Yeah, right. But and also part of it is being clear about what you want. And
Oh, yeah.
actually,
Clear.
when
It's
you're
very clear.
get clear about it. Get clear about what you want because your frequency otherwise will be a kind of all over the place. And so part of being clear about what you want is talking to yourself, doing the shadow work, finding out the things that you actually, what is the difference between something you're doing that actually is just like soothing you or feeding your ego? Those things that we do, that's different than I'm going to manifest for bliss and joy. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's we have to like figure out, we got to talk to ourselves. We got to be real honest with ourselves about that, but get clear. And another kind of way to go about manifesting is visualization. And so there's a lot of meditations out there, a ton of meditations out there, these self-guided ones that you can go through that, well, where you'll go into a state of meditation and you'll picture as clearly as you possibly can the thing or the desire or whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, the goal or whatever. And you see yourself doing it. You see yourself doing it over and over. It's almost like how athletes, you'll practice your sport in your head. And like that's the thing that helps you get to the actual thing because you're doing it, your brain's doing it. It's the same thing with manifestations is um, doing the picturing, doing the visualizing, and then in the moment of that visual, feeling every single bit of gratitude you possibly can for what you're experiencing. And when you can do that, you can literally experience it in the moment. You can put yourself, it's like you're almost in a different dimension where you're already experiencing the thing and you're just feeling it. You're just feeling the love and the joy and the gratitude to the universe for allowing this thing, this goal, this desire, whatever it is into your life. So you whatever method you're using to get there, right? We have some self-love, we have some self-care, we have some self-power things we're doing. We're going to picture it, we're going to visualize it, we're going to script it, we're going to put it on a poster. And there's again, there's like a lot of different ways methods people have out there. But we do all those things and we try to get ourselves into the vibration. But then it goes back to what you were saying a little earlier about allowing it in then.
Yeah.
Then we have to allow it in. That's when we allow it in. And we just have to get into a state of surrender, because there'll be times that we'll be asking universe for something. I want this, but we don't see it. And we look around our reality and we say to ourselves, okay, well, I'm not getting it. What's stopping it? What's happening here? Why aren't I getting my manifestation? So then what we're doing unconsciously is we're throwing those doubt trains on
Yeah.
we're throwing up the doubt train, and next thing you know, doubt train is pulling our manifestation the wrong direction on us.
Yeah.
And so
you know what else happens? If you don't get very clear, you can try to manifest something, and then you get 20 things in front of you that you're suddenly having to deal with.
yes,
And all of them are kind of what you wanted, but not exactly correct. And now you're making all these decisions based on, oh, well, this is what you asked for, right? It's like, that is why it's very important to get specifically clear on what it is you're asking.
it's that phrase, be careful what you ask for at
Oh,
times.
yeah.
It really is. It really is. Yeah. So we do all the work of it. Okay. And then we try to get ourselves into the state of allowance. And then it's you let it go. Then you let it go. That's that idea of set it and forget it, where you put the script, you do the scripting, you feel the feelings, and then you put that notebook away and you go on with life. And you just say to yourself, universe is going to handle that. I'm gonna go ahead and let the universe worry about the details of how that's going to work out for me, because I have no control over it anyway. Right. So
let's talk about then, as you say that, I'm like, okay, so I write a manifestation down and I forget it. And then, 2 years down the line, I'm wondering, why didn't that work out for me? Well, let's talk about, you have to put action towards the manifestations as well, because set it and forget is important. And that is a part of it. And you definitely have to do it. Now let's move into, you actually have to take action towards your manifestations as well.
absolutely. And that's really like the final kind of piece of the puzzle. You got to know what you want. You got to believe in yourself. You got to believe in it, but you got to do the thing. It's not going to fall into your lap. It's just not going to. When we were thinking about, talking about the subject, I was actually just thinking even about our YouTube channel. Okay. We decided, as part of one of the things we wanted to manifest in our larger experience of trying to heal others and heal ourselves, one of the things we wanted to do was have a successful YouTube channel. So how do we get there? Well, we actually need to start a YouTube channel. Step one. You know what I mean? It's like, we can picture it, we can script all day long, Shae. We could be over there scripting and doing everything humanly possible until we make a single video, and actually keep following through with it in a consistent way. We're not actually going to create that opportunity where we'll have that channel that we're asking the universe for. We're not going to get it because we're not taking the action. I mean, it's literally that old kind of joke or whatever it is about the person sitting on their roof in the flood, praying to God to be saved. And then a boat pulls up and says, come on in, I'm here to save you. And person's like, it's okay, I'm waiting for God. And, next person comes by, another boat comes by, and you know what I mean? No, thank you, I'm waiting for God, right? Person ends up drowning. They get up there and they're like, what happened? And God's like, well, I sent you boats. What are you doing? I sent, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, sometimes we have to notice like what's around us, our resources, yes, that, but also we have to do the thing. We have to actually do the inspiration. You just like we said a little bit ago, you have these different goals, these inspirations, these things you like, these desires, these things you want to do. Why? Right? So when we decide to go for it, really go for it, we're not going to get it unless actually we do that. And really, if you think about people who are extraordinary, right? And you really think about that word, extraordinary, what's different about the extraordinary beings? It's that they allow themselves to be extraordinary. And they actually do the thing. They actually do it. And they're no different from any one of us, except for that they've decided to do it. They decided they can do it and they're going to do it, and they do it. And that's what sets them apart from somebody who can't, who struggles through and it's like, I'm not getting my manifestations. But also you're filling your whole train up with doubt and fears and thoughts, and you're having all this commentary to yourself, explaining to yourself why you're not getting it and why you're not good enough. And it ends up really just blocking you. And so sometimes we end up attracting things we feel like we don't want, these negative experiences. We're attracting it nonetheless. Now, it doesn't mean we're doing it on purpose. Nobody's purposefully attracting the negative experiences, but your vibration is what it is.
Yes.
So, I mean, I think about people who spend a lot of time in worry. What a wasted energy worry is, because it's trying to control something that you have zero control over. And when you spend a lot of mental energy going into worry, what you're doing is you're sending out a vibration of the very thing you don't want.
Yep.
And universe is like, oh, okay, I got a match for you over here to that vibration, and sends it your way. Now, I want to be clear that there's a difference between something that's a fault. This is my fault versus this is the vibration I'm sending out. Okay. Because like sometimes people do bad things to us. That doesn't mean it's our fault. It's not our fault. It's on them. Okay. Their choice. However, we were a vibrational match for that in some way. And we have to ask ourselves what was going on with that, or what was the universe trying to show us in our reality, so that we can understand something bigger about ourselves or the nature of the universe or whatever it is. Yeah.
And that's what I was just going to go towards is saying that's what we're talking about when we say you're the creator of your universe. Any situation that happens to you, you have the ability to look at the flip side of things. I think that often we're taught through social media, through all these things, comparative culture and all these things. And so it's like, set that aside, and you have the ability to look at the flip side. Look at what the situation was there to teach you and be grateful for it, instead of adding those worry trains to your cart.
Yeah. And we're not suggesting that this is an easy process for everything, because there's some things that are just generally tough to get through. Okay. Like, loss of someone you love, for example, that's a thing you have to work your way through. So you're not gonna day one be able to get to the gratitude train, like, you know what I mean, on some of this stuff that's tough, and some of it. But if you can just work on replacing every single negative thought with a positive one, that's really gonna get you somewhere.
Yeah.
That's really gonna change your thinking, because we have such habitual ways of thinking. This is where you got to pay attention to your self-talk, pay attention to the commentary. So we can switch around the commentary to things like, everything's always working out for me. I say that so often, everything's always working out for me. And you say that enough, everything starts to work out for you, because I expect that. And that's the vibration I'm putting out. And it's even silly little things like going to the grocery store. And I said to myself, you know what, I'm going to get a parking spot right up front, and I know it. And I pull up and I do. Okay. And I go into the supermarket, and I'm in there, and I'm almost done shopping. I notice there's a bunch of people in line. Okay. Bunch of people in line. And I just smile to myself, because I say, by the time I get done picking up the milk in that back corner, I'm going to walk right through, and I'm not even going to wait in line. All these people are going to move on through before I'm done. And I go on back to the milk, and I, get my stuff, and I get back up to the front, and lo and behold, guess what? Line's not there. And I go on through smooth as ever. And I know I manifested that. I know I did. And you can't always get into that beautiful state of bliss. Do you know what I mean? When you have those days, and sometimes we can string a bunch of those days together, we're just on top of the world, and everything is working out for me at all times. Sometimes, we're human, and suddenly the monkey wrench will get thrown in on us, but that's really what we're going for. It's just that positive thought train, and just getting the momentum going in a positive way, so you notice everything great and positive about your life, instead of noticing everything you don't want. I mean, the universe will show us these things of contrast, because sometimes we don't know what we like. We don't know what we want. And so the universe will show us And sometimes we'll be like, oh, not that. And maybe I wouldn't have even known that unless I had seen the contrast. So that's part of Earth existence, is like seeing this contrast things, right? Like, nope, I want that. Yep, I want that. So it's like, that is just part of earthly existence for sure. But when we can get into a state of flow, when we can get into a state of allowance and allowing things in and feeling great and feeling powerful and understanding our ability to choose and create, this is where we get that really great momentum going, and it becomes a thought habit. And then suddenly, by default, I'm thinking the positive thing instead of by default making the negative comment to myself.
Yep.
You know what I mean? By default, I'm like, what? Like, how is this helping me? How is this better? How is this making me happier? How is this making me stronger? How is this making me more powerful? And I can get on these just like this roll where I'm just like talking and I'm just like building it up, and I'm just noticing just how fantastic everything is. And it's always working out for me. And oh my gosh, every single situation is just actually meant for me and my betterment. Every single one. That is just it's such a beautiful state to sit in and be in. And I strive to stay in it as long as possible. I mean, I think I've said this before about when I wake up in the morning, before I put my feet on the floor, I'm like, thank you, universe, every day, no matter what. Thank you. I woke up. I'm standing up. Thank you, universe. And I try to start my positive momentum going the very second I awaken. I don't let myself go down any bad train of thought. And if I notice myself doing it, I got to snap right back out of that. Because
well, I was about to say, just realize that every single moment is an opportunity to change. The only constant in the entire universe is change. So if you are somebody who is stuck in a negative mind thought, every moment is an opportunity to flip the script. You can do it at any time. You aren't nailed down to any sort of timeline to be any sort of way. You can change your mind.
I mean, time is an illusion. Time isn't real. Like, you know what I mean? So yeah. And we, a lot of times, we base our future on the decisions we've made in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And that's our mistake, is basing our future decisions on our past instead of basing our future decisions on like where we want to go, who we want to be. We have all this buildup, all this garbage that we drag along with us.
Yeah.
All this clutter in our brains, all this debris from the past that we drag with us, and we tell ourselves that's who we are. We put it in our story. We tell ourselves we've got all these wounds that we've got to carry around. We talk about our wounds. We use our wounds as currency just to justify our actions. We say, well, I'm doing this because I have this terrible wound. But do you see how when you vibrate out your wound, wow, you're expanding your wound now.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing. You're expanding that, where suddenly now you are your wounds. Now you are your trauma. That's exactly opposite of what we're trying to go for. Instead of being my divine self, instead of understanding my power and my ability to choose, I'm going the opposite way. So that's really the things that we do to also to block it.
I wanted to tell a story about one of the last times we were together in physical time and space. I noticed just how even-minded you felt, and we were in a group of people having a conversation, and the conversation was low vibrational. It just was. The other people were gossiping, basically, right? And I look over at you, and I'm wondering, every time I get in that type of situation, I try to, pivot the situation away. And I'm looking at you, and you just didn't respond. I remember you just didn't respond. And then whenever you had a thought to speak into the universe again, it was like you were just picking what type of energy to bring into this space. And that right there is creating your life. So just know too, there are situations we get ourselves in. You go to work, right? And there's the people at the coffee table who are constantly you do not have to interact. It's cutting out those vibrations that are also going to speed up your manifestations as well. You don't have to engage in the things that you have previously engaged in just because it was a habit then. Every moment is an opportunity to change, and you are the creator of your universe. And so you don't have to interact with those
No.
conversations or energies that feel like they're dragging you down. Guess what? Just don't interact. And you don't have to say anything. It doesn't have to be a confrontation of any sort, especially
Right.
if you're somebody who is emanating the light. Just do that. That's all you have to do. Emanate the light, walk away, don't respond. It doesn't have to be in a rude fashion at all. I just I appreciated watching that interaction with you, and it's changed the way that I've decided to interact going forward.
That's amazing. I love that. I mean, that's really what I'm trying to go for is expand the energy I want to expand. And when I'm hearing negative things and I don't want to expand it, it's sometimes better to just not comment. I love that. Because there was a different part of the day you walked in and was like, I don't like this conversation. And everyone's and you sort of like laughed or whatever. And we're all like, yeah, okay. And it did change the energy too. So sometimes, sometimes that also,
Yeah.
like you had a beautiful way of just switching it up too. And sometimes it's that. So um it is that idea of vibration. It is paying attention to the vibration and deciding what to expand or not. It's the point of focus that we choose. That's our life. That's what our whole life is. That's literally what our whole life is made up of, is those moments that you're living, that you choose, you literally choose, and like I was saying about like you'll have emotions. Emotions are telling you something about your environment. I mean, emotions are telling you something about your experience for sure. But those negative emotions that we have, they're meant to teach us something, no doubt about it. Feel your emotions, but you don't have to expand on that. You don't have to keep pulling that and just like again living in it and wallowing in it and just you can switch your energy up. It is something you have the ability to do. So when we're manifesting, we're creating every second, every moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In fact, on just the latest of notes, I'm wearing a manifestation. So this jumpsuit, right? I have been eyeing up for approximately 2 years. This brand that is pricey and I've been wanting. And I manifested this jumpsuit. It was worn once by somebody else, and I got it for a fraction of the price of what I would have paid if I would have bought it from the website. And it's just like, so, I mean,
Right.
it took me 2 years to manifest this jumpsuit. And like that's the
Right.
thing too, is that time is an illusion. So don't allow the timeline to scare you
Wow.
or to be the
Don't
thing
allow it.
that makes you not go forward with the manifestation. I mean, how it was 2 years that we talked about this YouTube channel.
It was. And if we only have a handful of subscribers right now, we could look at that and say to ourselves, this isn't working, Shae. We should probably just quit. And instead, I don't even slightly feel that way.
No.
I don't. I actually don't feel that way. I know that it feels so good to do it, that the universe is supporting us. So I'm not even going to pay attention to actually how many views we have or how many subscribers we have. I'm not going to pay attention to that. And one day we're going to look at it and go, oh, wow. You know what I mean? Because we're following through, we're taking the action, and we're so full of gratitude every single second along the way. And that's how I want to live. So
Yeah.
who cares, honestly, in some ways, what happens to it? Because what we said about, I want to go for the feeling, I want to go for what feels good and feels great. And just doing this with you feels so fantastic
And
that I don't need anything else.
Yeah, exactly. That is almost it. If you can just conjure up those feelings of excitement and gratitude, I mean, that's almost what it's all about.
That's it. It's a secret to the universe. Like grab on the best feeling you can and stay on that and don't move off of it. Refuse to be moved. Refuse to be moved off of it. No matter what happens, no matter what you hear, no matter what your reality shows you, refuse to be moved. Refuse it. And so that takes practice. Definitely takes
it
practice.
takes so much practice. And like just because we are humans and we came down to this physical plane, it's hard sometimes. right? And things do get thrown into your path, and the stars and the planets align in a certain ways that can really shake you up. But it's really just like this even mindedness to know that this too shall pass, and just take care of yourself in those moments. It's like in those moments when the hard emotions come up, that's when you should be practicing this radical self-love, giving yourself all the love. Replace any feelings of low vibration with these high vibrations of love, and you will be okay. You will, I promise you, you'll be okay.
Yeah. Just understand the power of choice and your power to choose. And when you, sometimes we get into these situations where we feel real helpless or real trapped or real powerless. This is where you have to look around and see what you're actually choosing.
Yes.
Because sometimes we definitely have circumstances that are tough and we can't necessarily change, but we can change our reactions to those. We can change our perceptions to those things. We can change every single thing we think about it, and it will change it. It absolutely will change it. It's like, what can I or should I be grateful for? Everything.
Everything.
Basically everything. Everything. I might want more. Okay. I might, and it's okay to desire more. It's not that, but as long as I can sit in a state of gratitude for every single thing that I have, it's okay if I desire more, as long as I'm not like desiring more out of a lack mentality.
Yeah.
And that's where we just got to pay attention to that lack mentality. Am I wanting something because I have a fear or a lack or a doubt or something? Again, I'm trying to soothe or fulfill or like something like that. What is that? What's going on with that? I got to pay attention to my lack. A lot of times we get into lack when we do the comparing.
Yeah.
We look at our house versus somebody else's house. We look at our body versus somebody else's body. We look at our job versus somebody else's job, and we compare, and we're like, theirs is better. And so like all we're doing is sending out a lack vibration at that point.
Yeah.
We're sending out a vibration of, I don't have it. So then guess what? I don't have it.
Yep.
I don't have it then. So, be grateful, have perspective. And any and everything can be a point of gratitude at that point. You're breathing, you're alive, not everybody is,
It's
for
your
example.
it's your birthright to live a life and create a life of prosperity, abundance, love, joy, peace. It's our literal birthright. And so,
Yeah.
and that's why we've created this channel, really, is because your vibe is your tribe. And so let's just create this tribe of people who is going to uplift us and help us rid ourselves of the worry train, jump on the joy cycle, and really
Exactly.
live our life's purpose without fear. I mean, it's really, I just want people to know, if I could drill this home, it would be that, like, you don't have to worry, and you don't have to be afraid, and you don't have to come at it with this lack of mentality. You can live a life of pure abundance with just what you have right here. You don't need anything else. And just give yourself the love that you're looking for.
Right. Even if it's just you have it inside of you, because we're all actually connected.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what your reality is reflecting back to you. It doesn't matter in this sense of, if you can be grateful for all of it, every bit of it, then it doesn't matter. That I'm not going to have to compare myself to other things. If I'm just sitting in my state of bliss that I'm trying to go for, what else could there be for me? I mean, I don't need to have objects to own. I don't need to have, circumstances that others have. I have what I have, and I'm so grateful. And that's how I want to stay. That's how I want to get into this even attitude, this evenness, so that no matter what happens, I can be like, wow, okay, I can just witness. We talked about this before. You just witness your life. You just witness. And things happen and you're like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Wow, universe. Didn't see that one coming. Okay. And I'm going to just go with it. I'm going to roll with it because what else can I do? I can, I could sit in a state of sadness or grief and, sometimes it might be appropriate for me to do so for a certain extent of time. Um, as long as I can bring myself back up out of it and just grab again my divinity, my higher self, my higher perspective. And this is a temporary state. Just understand whatever happening is probably temporary. It's temporary.
And this too shall pass.
And
Okay,
this
so just to recap.
Yes.
The manifestation. Let's recap on 1, get clear, right? What is it you're trying to call in? 2, match your vibration to that, whatever that looks like to you. That can be, I'm a yoga practitioner, right? And so that is the whole point of like a physical practice. If you are somebody who is like building the layers of this whole, I'm going to manifest and be the creator of my life, it probably would be beneficial for you to move your physical body and move the energies through your veins. So get clear, match the vibration, surrender to the vibration.
Yep.
And allow yourself.
And be in a state of, right? Be in a state of gratitude.
Be in a state of gratitude.
And take action as if you already have it. Act as if you already have it. And that's really sort of the keys of it. It's all of that together, kind of working together. And you get into a flow. Don't you think once you get doing it and once you kind of understand and claim it, claim your own power to be able to do it. So I'm like, what day am I going to create today? Yeah. And once I get into that, it's literally effortless at that point. And then I just sit back and watch. What does the universe have for me today? Like, thank you. Oh, wow. That amazing. Like what?
All these different methods, right? You can script, you can visualize, you can move your body, you can do breath work, you can do all these things to help you match this vibration. Experiment. You are a unique expression. So what works for you might not work for the next person. Experiment with it all, dabble in it all, and just figure out your code. What does your code look like?
Yeah, what is yours?
Like anybody else's.
Right. For me, I don't actually too often picture or visualize something specific. What I picture is the state of joy.
Yeah.
That's where I put myself, and I figure universe is like way more smarter. Well, nice grammar. Way smarter than I am. So it's gonna come up with so many better solutions for my manifestation, so many better expressions than I could possibly even think of. So I'm just going to leave it to the universe. I'm just going to leave the universe to work out the details because everything's always working out for me anyway. So I'm just going to sit in a place of trust, surrender, gratitude. I mean, what a beautiful state to be able to sit in on a daily. I'll take it. And if that's all I've manifested in my whole life, fantastic. Great job, Shannon.
Celebrate yourself. Like, I just want to celebrate us for a moment, even sitting here recording this podcast together. This is a dream. It is all a dream. And so we get to create this together. Celebrate yourself. You don't need anybody to celebrate your wins for you. Okay, jump around, sing a song, dance. These are the types of vibrations that are going to allow you to get the abundance that you want. You already have it. Time is an illusion. The timeline of things is going to happen as it's going to happen, right? And so you already have the thing. You are the thing. You are the creator. I love you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just be love. Just be just be joy. And that's what you get. So I'm so grateful to have this conversation with you, Shae, because it always affirms and just reinforces. Every single time we do this, we just reinforce each other. And I know that you're part of my manifestation, actually.
Literally.
So much for that.
We manifested into this lifetime together because we have a message to spread. And so, and we're doing it. We're doing it. So thank you, listeners, for listening. And any feedback or commentary or anything else you want to hear us talk about, please let us know. We're here for you. We're here for ourselves, but we're here for you. We're all one. So
Absolutely.
anything
Absolutely.
else feeling like it needs to come through?
I think this feels good. This feels like a good conversation. So to me, if you're watching and you're thinking, okay, how do I put this into practice? It's literally just start right now and look around your life and notice everything beautiful, notice everything grateful, and just be grateful and start from there. And then just go through the steps. And eventually you'll get to it. Yeah.
I love you. Thank you for this conversation. I love you,
Yeah.
listener. Thank you for listening to this conversation. You can find us on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. Please leave
Right.
us a review, any comments, likes,
Right.
shares.
And we're so grateful for your attention. Absolutely grateful for any moment of attention that you're giving to us and expanding our message of love and joy, because that's really what we want to put out into the world. So thank you so much.
And we will see you next Monday. You are the creator of your universe. You rock. You're amazing. Bye.